Welcome to Ecom Cowboy. This is D2C's daily show where we believe ads are not bad, ignorance is expensive, and the American dream is alive and well on the internet today. It is Thursday, March 19th, 2026. We're brought to you by Incense, Seguno, Postscript, and AM, and we have a jam-packed show for you today. Stitch by Google has been released and the internet is divided. Is this vibe designer's moment? Has Figma been relegated to the grave? We shall see. We shall dig into it. If nothing else, it is very interesting. Creators are now getting Zuck bags by the boatload as Facebook is intending and trying to compete for the very cutting edge of eyeball demanding content on the internet. We are going to have Mike Manheimer, CCO and CMO of Postscript, here on the show to talk about the conversational report and what you are not doing by not responding very quickly on SMS when people text you back. And we're also going to have Jeremy Cernick, founder of Oliva Dorado, to talk with us about his great product that is blowing up. As always, I am joined by my partner in crime, Colin Doherty. Colin, get in here. Get in this show.
Locked and ready to go. Locked and ready to go.
Locked. Dialed right now. Sir, there has been a very interesting development and release by Google yesterday. Yeah. Google dropped a tool that may replace your entire creative team. One has to wonder, if nothing else, it has made Figma's stock go very down over the last 24 hours. I can't tell if this is vibe designer's moment, if the tool is here, or if this is just another AI hype train that everybody's excited about and will not use over the next 36 hours, then move on to something else. We had some very interesting responses here on the internet yesterday. It looks very fancy. Let's look at what Eamon Web3 had to say about Figma's stock price here. Definitely not positive. This is actually insane. One tweet just wiped billions off Figma overnight. Is that literal billions? I mean, yeah. Wow. Yeah. Well, some VC probably predicted that many moons ago, and it finally became true, and now they feel much smarter. This came to us from Sharir. Sharir designed Google Stitch or Claude or Human. Which one better for you? Can you zoom in on this, Jack? I find this to be very interesting. The great thing is that he's putting it side by side here, and we've got Google Stitch on one side, Claude on the other, Human on the other. I do think for this one, I think I actually like Google Stitch better, I think. I mean, this landing page, it looks better to me. It looks better than the Human one.
Yeah. Yeah, they're extremely similar.
They're similar. Yeah. But that's not bad if it didn't cost you many hours and it's actually better at the end of the day. Colin Landforce, infamous YouTuber, well, I'll say infamous Instagrammer and Cut 30er, had this to say. I tried this, asked it for a style guide for a new site of mine so I can build out more pages and layouts that match. It pulled colors, fonts, and generic icons into a canvas. So I told it to include images and design elements too. It mocked up 3 new generic pages with my content that looked nothing like the reference site or the style guide it made. Started over, asked it for some redesigns, mocked up the layout into a food blog, 3 versions. One didn't look like slop. These tools are amazing, but y'all need to get off the hype train. But here's the actual result. And I think his result is bomb. Look at this thing.
Yeah.
1 reference site, 2 style guide based on it, 3 new page layout. This is like the new Cut 30 website. I went and clicked on it. This site is live, and I mean, that thing looks nice. Look at the countdown. I mean, it's got that kind of gradient that Oren likes to use behind his images on his carousels. Learn short form video in just 30 days. I'm impressed, to be honest.
Oh, that's the reference site.
No. I thought this is what he made.
No, so the first one's the reference site. The second image is the style guide. That third one in the bottom right, that high performance video machine, is the new page output.
No.
Yeah.
Is that really the case?
Yeah, it was just a bit off because it's not a high performance video machine. So Google didn't quite understand the full context of what he was putting in there. I mean, the site's pretty decent, but it's just not quite there from a context standpoint.
Wow. Well, now that I'm understanding this correctly, I'm much lower on this thing. I was impressed. I was impressed with this website. I was like, this Cut 30 website looks awesome.
Yeah.
Google did that last night.
Yeah. No, it didn't. I mean, it's really, really good. I will say the fact that the Figma stock has such a sharp drop is an indication that this will only get better over time, and Google Labs will just train this to get better over time. There is a little interesting research that I did on top of this that could
Okay.
add some interesting teeth to this.
Yeah, bring it.
Google just put a patent down for AI landing pages. So
Okay.
the next evolution of this is they are going to want to own the experience through and through. So they're going to want to own designing all of this and then putting it into their AI landing pages. I would not want to be Vermont right now if I was trying to navigate all of this, because Google has the most amount of money to spend against AI landing pages physically possible and the most user data. So
I mean, that's not what Vermont is, though, is it? Just, I mean, it's not only AI landing pages, at least.
Sure.
I after having reviewed Land Force's results here, I'm not that impressed. I'm not.
I tried to
that
get in. I couldn't get into it. I have Google Gemini Pro, and then I tried to like dive into the beta of it, and I couldn't figure out a way into the beta. And so they're really not making this like super accessible right now.
The AI landing page is patent. Okay, that's very interesting. That's very interesting. But I do think Colin has a point here. It's like, there's like so many of these things like every other day. I
Yeah.
mean, this is kind of like my full-time job is to be up to date on what's rolling out and what's
Yeah.
happening. And there's just so many of these things. And then,
Sure.
you look at some of these results, sometimes, hey, that's impressive. Like the one that our friend before Colin showed, and that one looked impressive. I don't know how many iterations that took him. But the one that Land Force is putting out here in reference to his own site, it's obvious which one's the clear winner, and it's the site he already has. I mean, I don't know if there's that much juice to this right now, just based on this example. I'm sure there are others out there.
I will say this is the beta version. So this is them getting the feedback and getting the intake to train the model on. This is more so important to see where Google is setting its sights on. So what is the next 6 to 12 months going to look like for where Google is trying to tackle? If that's design, if that's landing pages, if that is end-to-end replacing your Figma, that's really interesting, because then you're understanding the trajectory of, okay, this is the focus for Google. This is what they're trying to do. This is a little teaser. They dropped a little cupcake for us. They said, hey, play with this little cupcake. I'm sure you guys are going to like it. But guess what? We're going to use all that data you're giving us to bake a cake, a big old cake, and you're going to love it. It's going to be delicious.
I think some of these tools that I've seen from Google as of late, there's the other one that starts with the P, where it's not particle. It's
the photo shoot one.
Yeah, the photo shoot one. I can't remember.
We're
right
blanking
now.
on it. Yeah, we're blanking.
But a lot of these, what I do like about them is that they seem incredibly helpful for the capacity maxed solo founder.
Yeah.
I mean, also the capacity max solo founder who's not design inclined, that doesn't have money for a photo shoot, wouldn't know where to start for a landing page. That I love. I love that. And I think this is still kind of hitting the rule for me that AI is going to get us 80 to 85% the way there. And then you need some skilled human hands to get that thing across the finish line. I don't know. Perhaps I think it's leveling up the averages of all, probably a lot fewer but ugly websites out there on the interwebs over the next 6 months because of tools like this. But this is definitely not, there's definitely a human in the loop necessary for sure.
Absolutely.
And a skilled hands human in the loop necessary. This isn't just build me 1,000 pages and then automatically run them and send all the traffic to them and I become a billionaire overnight.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't like typing into Gemini, build me a $5 million business overnight, make no mistakes, and then I relax with Mai Tais on the beach, which I think that's what we want. I mean, you know, and that is some of the promise that feels like it's being made, but we're not quite there with this one. I'm not sure that this is Vibe Design's moment, but perhaps it's coming. Perhaps it's coming. Your thoughts?
One more step into that direction. That's what we're doing. Every day they chip away. They chip away at the stone. That is that dream that you have. And eventually they're going to see it. They're going to show you the David.
I will say this, like, design is kind of like subjective. And you know, you have to practice it to make beautiful things. Surround yourself with beautiful things to make beautiful things. And it takes time to make increasingly more beautiful things. So I will say I'm kind of going back on myself, but I did say this point before. I'm very happy for this to exist for the non-design inclined, capacity maxed solo founder or marketing team of one that needs to get things out the door and just up level, upskill, make things better. It's not all the way there. These aren't masterpieces, but I think it's heading in the right direction.
Yeah, and it's only going to be as good as the reference and the context that you're giving it.
Yeah.
So you still have to provide a lot of reference and context for what exactly you want. It's not just a one shot and it's over.
Yeah, which I really just want the computer to read my mind. Really.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I want to happen.
Plug it in.
Everything is computer, but computer isn't everything. Before we move forward to our illustrious guest who will join us in about 30 to 45 seconds, I'm talking about the one and only Mike Manheimer of Postscript. We need to talk about Postscript. Isn't that fitting? Shouldn't we talk about Postscript right now? We should. You know, ladies and gentlemen, focus is an amazing thing. And when you focus and obsess over one thing only, you get outsized results. And that is what happens with Postscript. When people make the switch, they see an average 22% increase in revenue. Now, I did not see that. I saw a whole lot more. Inside of a year, we went from making very little money on SMS to being a top 1% account on the entire platform. How did that happen, Chris? I just did what they said. And there is a huge opportunity inside of your SMS list right now. Customers are texting you, they're asking you questions, and I know that you're not even looking at it or responding to them. You're pretending that it doesn't exist. That is not a support ticket, my friend. That's an opportunity for you to make money. If you go to the Conversational Report, direct-to-consumer.co, the Conversational Report, what you're going to get is great info on that missed dollars and revenue to your pocket right now. Mike Manheimer, CCO and CMO of Postscript, is coming to talk with us right now about it. Many thanks for Postscript being part of the show. Now, Mike Manheimer, who has, I would say, probably one of the best beards in our game.
Oh, yeah.
Nick Shackelford's got to be in that conversation.
Barry.
I'd like to at least be honorable mention, you know,
Sure.
as a man with facial hair that is on camera every day. But even more than that, he is laser focused on utilizing AI to actually make you money and not just be a distraction inside of e-commerce. And he is coming to talk with us right now about the Conversational Report Postscript that just released. Everyone welcome Mike Manheimer. Get in here, Mike.
What's up, boys?
Gang. That's what I got to say. That's what I got to say, Mike. We have been waiting to get you on here, brother.
I'm here. I'm actually. I was sad you were talking about my beard. It's looking a little shabby today. I'm under the weather, but I could not miss an opportunity to come on the show and talk about
absolutely
conversational SMS. That's my favorite thing ever. So here I am.
Well, I think, Mike, other than literal IRL face-to-face communication with customers, I think the most direct form of talking with customers that we have in e-commerce is SMS. And I know from managing my own accounts and from just having friends across the space, usually what happens when people write in is absolutely nothing. When people text you back, absolutely nothing happens, and you want to pretend it doesn't exist because like that's like too much for me to handle.
Yeah.
I think before we dive into the report, I'd just like you to frame up why this is so important and why brands should not be considering SMS and people writing in as just like a support ticket type deal, and really an awesome opportunity for making profit and putting that in your pocket. Can you kind of frame this up for us?
Chris, what's happening on the channel is actually worse than nothing. What happens a lot of the time is people write these like awesome on brand texts, like, "Hey, bestie, thought of you for this VIP drop or whatever," and then they're like, "Hey, thanks," and then it says worse than nothing. It says this inbox is not monitored.
Oh,
Email support at brand name here, and it's like that is even worse than not even addressing the channel. So I would say if you're doing nothing, you're wrong. If you're doing what I just said and doing an autoresponder like that, you're off in like cringe land. Like that, you can't do that. That's the worst thing ever. Everyone knows that this thing right here controls everyone's life. Their head's buried in it 100% of the day.
yeah.
SMS is totally the most intimate, direct line that you have to your customers. And the way that we frame this discussion about why is conversational so important, and probably the most slept on thing in the space, is everyone knows SMS is a high converting channel. That's why we all do it.
Yeah.
Our data shows that like about 25% of people who give up their SMS number are going to buy something in the first couple of weeks. Just they came there to buy, they see what they want. Maybe they take a little bit to decide. Maybe your texts help push them over the edge, but like they're there to buy something.
Oh yeah.
But it begs the question though, what about the other 75%? Let's say you're getting 5,000, 10,000 SMS numbers a month. So you have 5,000, 7,000 people who are coming in and they're not buying anything, but they let you into this channel.
Yeah.
That is the most important thing. Like something's going on there. What's really going on there is they are in some sort of consideration period. They have questions. They want to know why they should buy your thing over another one. I was talking to the team at Built yesterday, who's a PostScript customer, a great PostScript customer. And we were talking about conversational with them. And they're like, yeah, some people are coming to buy the Built Polo right away. But a bunch of people are like, should I buy the Built Polo or the Cuts Polo or the Travis Matthew Polo or the Malbon Golf Polo? And they're still in that mode. You just paid Meta probably a bunch of money to get that first onto your site.
That's right.
They give their number to you. They have questions and you do nothing or worse than nothing. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. It is an absolute sales opportunity that honestly 99% of direct-to-consumer brands are literally just leaving on red, so to speak.
Oof, sad.
Yeah. And Chris, we covered something really similar to this early where Amazon had Rufus going, and Rufus is Amazon's AI where they're talking directly with customers. Rufus was responsible for 70% of Amazon's Black Friday, Cyber Monday interactions.
Yeah.
So customers are now getting trained on conversational with consumer apps like ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude. And also Amazon is now training them. Amazon's a pretty small company, so we'll see if they do anything. Yeah, but now you have this consumer behavior that you guys are perfectly sliding into with conversational, where folks are basically totally down to just talk through all of the questions they're having, and you guys are now basically this education piece.
Yeah, I would say that consumers everywhere are being trained to expect when they type something into a text box on the internet, they are now expecting that there is a instant, incredibly good conversational response that's going to come back. That's what they now expect. Yeah. Your brand short code that you're already texting through, like, could be basically an LLM chat experience for everyone, or it could be the other thing, but it's right there. It's instant. If you can make it smart and make it instant, which obviously we build tools to help people do that. There are other tools too. We're not saying we're the only game in town and biased. I think ours is the best, most on-brand version. But all that said, meeting customers' expectations, which are changing faster than they ever have, is absolutely critical. And that you already have it. Most brands already have a toll-free number or a short code or an RCS sender or something going on as it relates to messaging. And so just using that to meet these new customer expectations it's not that big of a leap. It's right there. You already probably have a lot of the infrastructure ready to go. You just need to be able to bring that experience onto the channels that you're already getting people to convert on.
Absolutely.
So that being said, Mike, we're being mass educated to shop this way and have this kind of interaction. And to me, this feels like one of the most direct, practical, on the ground level use cases for AI to help you. You know, it's an operational nightmare to have somebody that can text everybody all the time, 24/7, blah, blah, blah. What is the gap? Why has this gap not been crossed? Because, man, we're seeing it happen with big boys in other places, Amazon, Rufus, etc. There's the capability to do this. It's a direct use case for AI, but there's still this huge gap. Vast majority of brands, you're either getting an autoresponder or they are pretending that you don't exist on purpose. Why the gap? Why the gap? Because this feels like to me an absolute no-brainer for not just giving a winsome customer experience, but actually keeping people from abandoning cart. Which that's what the report gets into. 80+% of consumers, they write in, they don't get anything back. They're abandoning cart. They're out. They're bouncing.
Yeah, the report shows there's this huge gap between consumers telling us 80% of consumers have said, I've abandoned a cart because I had a question that I couldn't get answered by just simply reading the PDP. And when we asked brands, do you think that people abandon the cart because they don't get questions answered on the PDP? Less than 30% said that was a major reason. So there's this huge like misunderstanding about what's actually happening versus, and it's not the PDP's fault. It's meant to be a page that handles the top stuff. The edge cases, which there is a long tail of them, that's not supposed to be on the PDP, or else the PDP would be 100 scrolls long. So here's what I see. There's three main reasons why people aren't doing this. That there's a gap. The first one I think is easy to address, which is people are skeptical that people want to even text their brand. I've heard this a million times. People are like, "Oh, you're talking about all this conversational stuff. I'm asking you, how do you know people even want to text me?" My answer to that would be, and this is very easy to test, is one, I know for a fact, because most people haven't done this, you have not tried. So if you tried, which is very simple, send a campaign, normal copy, normal link to try to convert, and just simply add a question at the end. Literally a question I'd be like, is there anything else I could help you with today? ? Something simple. Yeah. If you ask a question in your next campaign or add it to a welcome series or whatever test you want to run, do an A/B split and leave 5% over for this question, whatever, fine. If you do that though, you will get people asking you questions. You will get tons and tons of responses, way more than you think. So just try that. So number one, people are like, do people even want to text my brand or not? Find out. It's so easy. Try it. You'll see. Okay, number two, and this is a really, really big one. Theoretically, the entire reason that we even have a direct-to-consumer channel, right, is because we believe that there's a good reason to have a direct connection with the customer. That if we have a direct connection with the customer, it'll result in a better brand experience, more sales, blah, 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 blah. That's why we do this, right?
Yeah.
And so what we found is because of that belief, brands are very, very protective over what we would call like their brand voice and the guardrails associated with that. And so when we set out to build these tools, we were like, I don't know what the bar is going to be. Is it going to be like 80-20, we'll crack a few eggs to make an omelet type of thing? Or are people going to be like, this has to be close to perfect? What we found is most people say you have to be pretty close to perfect. And so we've been building for that world. Now, without getting into whether that's the right or wrong approach, I think it's perfectly rational for people to say, I don't want this thing, this AI that I'm not really watching all the time to embarrass me or my brand.
Sure.
And so the tools, a lot of the tools are not good enough to jump over the bar for most direct-to-consumer brands. That's just true. Even when we first launched our shopper tool, it wasn't there. And so we learned a lot, and we've been figuring out a way to get to that 99% accuracy or better. But I would say that because we are building these tools for direct-to-consumer experience, the bar is very, very high. And the brand trust is non-negotiable. Most tools out there fail at that. And so a lot of people have seen AI slop versions of this. And so they go, see, that, just like I said, I can't let this go out. You know, you're like a supplement brand. You can't have AI making random health claims about yours. You know, like that's like actually a major problem.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
The AI slop tools, of which PostScript is not, but the AI slop tools that are out there, which you can find a ton of them, they're not good enough for the brand voice stuff.
Yeah.
And then I would say the third and final thing I hear is there's this internal tension about who owns communications with the customers. Like the e-com team's like, I own merchandising and what goes on the site. And then the retention team is like, I have email and SMS. And then you have the support team over there, which sometimes lives in ops. And they're like, well, I talk to the customers and I don't want there to be, I don't want there to be more tickets. And then they're like, well, I want to talk to the customers. And they're literally, in some cases, the extreme version of that is like political infighting over who owns the two-way relationship. Yeah, it's a real thing. And the guidance I would give to people to think about that is proactive support is not what conversational SMS is best at. Now, it deflects tons of tickets and it can help lighten the load for those folks. But what we're talking about here, because we need to make people money with our tools, right, is this is a sales opportunity, a two-way sales opportunity. And if you isolate that use case, say, who inside my business owns this? The answer is currently no one. So if you're trying to settle the political argument inside of your business, you should say this isn't taking something from someone else and doing it with a different tool. This is, we're trying to address an unaddressed use case that our customers are asking us for. And that usually helps kind of create the guardrails and the swim lanes that companies can kind of get more comfortable with.
A little inside selling, advice there, Mike. I like that.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the real thing. If you can't get the people internally to agree on who does what and why, sometimes it can put some of the stuff on ice because the practical nature of it is like, hey, you're encroaching on my territory, and I have a 10-second SLA. I don't want to be on the hook when you guys send a text message out and get 10,000 responses back that all flow into insert ticket system of choice. Now, that's not what happens when we use our tool, but you can imagine when you're getting that onslaught that the people who are used to dealing with the onslaught get pretty protective over their time, and it makes sense.
For sure.
When you're talking about this, and I'm hearing it from a sales perspective, I'm seeing it from a brands making money perspective. I think back to, and I'm going to get very bro-y on you here, so please, I apologize. Alex Hormozi talks about this, sales to lead timeline, where if you're calling a qualified lead under 60 seconds, the close rate improves, I think, 150%. Then if you actually extend that window over 2 to 3 minutes. And so I'm basically looking at this like, you guys just made an SMS version of this. That's unbelievable. And now people are also being seen and heard. I think this is so underrated for brands, where you do not want to have a brand where the customer does not feel seen and heard, because that's half the battle. If they can feel seen and heard about things, then you can actually facilitate that conversation and answer questions, and then they actually feel comfortable making the purchase.
Yeah, let's talk about this real quick, because one of the things that we see from the conversational approach here is that obviously we try to convert people into a sale. We want people to go from zero-time purchasers to first-time purchasers. But for people who become first-time purchasers who have a conversational sales motion as opposed to just the normal thing that they would get on your website, they have a 1.5x higher lifetime value. So think about why that happens. It's because of the experience. And so if you think about, like, you have first-time purchasers, then you have like your VIP segment, and you're trying to get your first-time purchasers to buy more and become brand advocates and be in that VIP segment. When someone converts for the first time by having these types of conversations, they automatically start somewhere in between I purchased for the first time and VIP. They're not just a regular first-time buyer, because they had this interaction that's kind of preloading them for future purchases at a 1.5x rate. And so I always tell people, like, why should I do this? Well, first off, we want to convert more people so you can make more money. But two, the subscribers that are going through this experience aren't your normal ones. They're going to buy more in the future, and we can prove that with our data. So you're kind of priming the pump. You're building this asset in your list for these future drops, future sales, future conversion opportunities that are now going to be significantly more likely to happen just because you had that conversation in the first place. And we used to say, oh, it's just because you did the work. Because AI is here, you don't have to do any work. This happens for you. You do nothing. You just turn it on, it happens. So it's like, I'm sometimes, Dan, our chief revenue officer, will be on calls together, and he's like, hey, can I give you some feedback? You're acting like kind of frustrated on something. So I am frustrated. This is so freaking easy to make money. I honestly, I don't get it. Like sometimes I'm like, what's going on here, guys? Like I'm trying to give you extra money. Like let's do
you like extra money? You should just do this then.
I'm like, this is the biggest no-brainer ever. I mean, come on. So
I wanna speak to marketers, heads of departments, founders, COOs, CFOs that are listening to this right now, because people ask me like, hey, how did you go from making like no money to being top 1% on PostScript in a year? Like what happened there? And what I always want to tell them is, actually, you don't know what you're doing. Dear marketer, I love you. I love you. And I know that you have to put on a brave face for everybody in the organization and convince them that you have all the answers. But I've been there, and I know you, and I know that you don't know. You don't know. You're making it up as you go along, just like everybody else. And one of the best decisions of my career was being quiet and just deciding, let me just listen to what PostScript has to say, and let me do that. And then I did. I submitted to the 20 somethings that were giving me advice, and we went up and to the right through the roof. And so I say that because this is one of those stupid, simple conversations where it's like, hey, we've got the data. If you turn this on, you make more money. We'll respond to people inside of a minute with this trained AI tool. And they're not going to wait several hours for you to even say something, or do even worse, give them an autoresponder. This is like a stupid, simple thing that people just need to flip the switch on, humble themselves, and make a few more dollars at the end of the day. Is that fair, Mike? Is that fair?
Yeah, I think it's totally fair. And I think that there's also one other key benefit to this that, again, is a slept on thing. So this is especially for the brand owners, the CEOs, the people who are in charge of making sure that the brand consumer connection is as tight as possible. Everyone talks about, oh, I want to be close to the customers. People are trying to figure out ways that they could talk to customers. If you see on direct to consumer Twitter, it's like occasionally a founder, a brand founder will say like, I call 5 customers every month, and everyone's like, that's crazy. Yeah, you're like, oh my God, you're amazing. You're amazing, right? We have a tool on the back end of the Shopper product, which is our conversational AI. It's called Ask Shopper. So yes, you get all this money. Yes, you get probably tens of thousands of conversations if you're a 9-figure brand happening every single month. Ask Shopper allows you to query the conversations like an LLM inside of PostScript and get insights back from your customers. So for people who are like, I want a direct line to my customers. I want to know what's going on. Do they like this new bundle? We just did this new drop. We're trying a new merchandising strategy. We rolled out memberships. Are those hitting the right way? You can go, once you have the conversational data in there, and simply query it, prompt it, and say, show me everyone who mentions this product. Group them by sentiment. Find 5 positive conversations and 5 negative ones. This not only will generate you money, it might become your best source of consumer insights ever. Ever.
Wow.
Clip
that.
Clip that. I was about to ask exactly this exact question, which was the follow-up for, you have all this contextual data. You have all this conversational data now. So what do marketers get to do with this? I mean, I'm just nerding out and being like, hey, can I start to visualize my persona? Can I start to feed this in and actually make visuals of my persona, who this guy is, who this girl is, and start to break it out? What are their hobbies? What are their interests? What are they afraid of? What should I talk to? And these then get to feed into the rest of the ads that you're making. So you now have this full funnel from your actual conversations.
100%. I mean, think about the ability to funnel that information up to your performance creative team,
100%.
like product development. Like, one of the things I remember when we were when we did this with True Classic, we were finding out that there was like a type of bundle people frequently asked for that didn't exist. Yeah. And it's like, what was that going to make or break their quarter? Like, no, but it told them something about the types of merchandising strategies on site, and that they were like losing, 10 to 20 orders a week that they could have gotten if they simply had a bundle that matched this requirement that was, specific to a certain set of subscribers in a certain region of the United States. Like, that type of data would be like impossible to get some other way. But now they could just be like, hey, what's going on? I saw this group of people who saw this product and asked these questions, what's going on here? And they could surface that and capture these new revenue streams. And so it's just an insane value add. And I think a lot of the people who are using Shopper are saying they came for the incremental revenue, but they're staying for these insights. Because the insights are huge, something that you can't really get anywhere else unless you're, deciding to call people after they place an order all day long, which everyone's busy, right? We don't have time to do that. I'm sure there's plenty of people listening to this who are like, I wish I could call every single person who bought, but I just don't have the time. Yeah. This is a way to kind of get into the mind of the customer without adding a bunch of overhead to your team and democratize the information across your entire org and make everyone smarter.
Wow. Yeah, that's incredible.
That's huge. I mean, just arming other people within your org, not to get political or anything, that's such a great thing to have you as the person who is giving the amazing information to the CEO. Hey, by the way, I have this amazing piece of information for you. Yeah, hey, by the way, operator, I have this amazing piece of information for you. I'm making your job easier by the information I'm getting. Everybody in the org is going to say, oh my gosh, that guy Jack is amazing. He keeps making my job easier. This is awesome. Can we just like promote that guy?
Yeah,
it's a no-brainer.
Exactly.
100%. If you are the source of the freshest, most relevant customer insights inside of your direct-to-consumer brand, you're like, you're God. Like, that's like
exactly.
That is such a if not for any other reason, being the person who's like, hey, 20 customers wrote in and said these things about our products this week. To the CEO is like an incredible reason alone to try to go seek out these types of conversations.
Yeah, Mike, this is a no-brainer, and I think what you guys are doing with AI Shopper, truly innovative, helpful. You're trying to make everybody money. you're trying to make some marketer be enshrined in the Hall of Fame inside of this company. Man, we appreciate you making the time and joining us. And tell us, man, where to get the report, where to talk with you, talk with your team. Somebody wants to test drive this thing out, talk about get on PostScript. Where do they go? Who do they talk to?
Yeah, you can go to postscript.io and learn all about our products. And if you want to talk to us, submit a demo. We'll make sure that we take care of you. The report is at directtoconsumer.co, where you can go download the conversational report. PostScript is going to be out in full force at Shop Talk next week. So if you're listening to this and you're going to be in Vegas, find us. We're going to have a booth out there. You won't miss it. And otherwise, we're on all the socials, etc. You can find us there. If you are curious, even you want a custom demo of what conversational AI could look like for your brand, let us know. We'll build you a Shopper instance so you can test it for yourself.
Boom.
Oof. Boom. Ooh, dropped it. Dropped the mic on that one.
And if you're at Shop Talk, hello, Colin. Yeah. If you're at Shop Talk, wow. Well, Mike, we appreciate you joining the show, man. We look forward to getting more. We'll talk to you again soon.
Wow.
Okay. There's so much to digest there. And we have got another guest coming in hot right now.
All right.
I am talking about what seems to me the finest of olive oils available on the interwebs. We're talking wine level innovation and curation and simplicity and purity for the American consumer. And the man that has brought it to market, we need to talk to this guy. I'm talking about the one and only Jeremy Cernick, founder of Olive Dorado. Get in here, Jeremy. Get in here, Jeremy. Let's go.
Hey, guys. Thanks for the intro.
Jeremy, man, I found you somehow. Actually, I think Johnny Hickey was the first one that I discovered you through.
Johnny's great.
Man, you have got to give us some of the origin story of your olive oil here. I think that a lot of people don't know. I have some awareness, but I hope you'll dive into it. Frame this up for us. I think a lot of people don't know that the olive oil that we're all buying at the grocery store is like totally sullied and mixed with all of other kinds of things, even if it says extra virgin, what. And give us some perspective and frame this up origin story wise for why you started Oliva Dorado.
Absolutely. And first off, thanks for having me on. I'm a huge fan of you guys. Excited to talk about it here today. But you hit the nail on the head. So olive oil, it's in everybody's house. We all know about it, and nobody has probably ever had a second guess about it or looked into the quality. And a few years ago, I started eating healthier. I started eating organic. I cut out processed foods, seed oils, all of that. And I started looking into olive oil, and it just blew my mind what, a category we all use daily had no good options. And of course there are some good options in the market and everything, but I started looking into like what actually made olive oil good and why it was this ingredient for thousands of years in the Mediterranean that everyone talks about, uses, loves. You go to Italy, you go to Spain, you go to Greece, it's on every table. You're like, this is the best thing I've ever had. You come back to America, it doesn't exist. You're buying. And so the main reason for that is the supply chain here in the United States for olive oil is really focused on stability, cost, and mass market. And so a lot of the olive oils in the US are blends from multiple countries. So you're going to have olive oil from Morocco, Italy, Greece, Spain, all mixed together, and they'll bottle it and sell it from Italy. So it's Italian olive oil, even though it's a small percentage of Italian olive oil in there. It's not organic, it's late harvested, which I'll get into, and it's typically 2, 3, 4 years old, or at minimum it's not from the most recent harvest. And olive oil, olive oil is the opposite of wine. It does not get better with age. You want it from the most recent harvest. And so bringing all this together, I'm looking into the olive oil market. I'm finding kind of like all these check marks of what you need for the highest quality olive oil, and there were like no options for it. And so I literally, 2 weeks later, got on a flight to Spain, went to olive farms, started meeting with potential suppliers.
Let's go.
Basically spent a year and a half just literally looking for the best olive oil in the world. And I finally found one where when I tasted it, like I'm not exaggerating, I was like, there is nothing like this. Like I've never had olive oil that tastes this good. And the exciting thing for me about my product is it has kind of all those health check marks. So it's organic. It's early harvested. We're always selling for the most recent harvest.
Awesome.
We bottle in glass, not plastic, but it also tastes amazing, which you need in the food industry. Like people want stuff they're excited to consume. And so we partner directly with this family-owned farm. They're based in Spain, and we sell it here in the United States to our customers.
Wow.
That's founder energy, baby.
That is founder energy. To go, right to Spain and then start meeting farms and then just to absolutely start just tasting a bunch of olive oil is absolutely incredible. We have a kind of a mantra on this show called the one man brand, and you run this entire company solo. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, that's correct. And I had no e-com experience at all. I literally was like, I'm going to start a business. I'm going to start an olive oil business. And I was in Spain 2 weeks later, and I was like, I'm just going to figure this out as I go.
I love it.
Oh my gosh. What are you using right now in your day-to-day to help you with that? Because I mean, that seems extremely overwhelming. Totally. Chris and I always say, the one-man brand is very feasible right now, but that doesn't mean it's not a really overwhelming thing. You got to have a lot of tools at your disposal. What are you doing right now to balance everything?
Yeah. Are you referring like from like a tech stack perspective, or in terms of just like how I'm going about it on a day-to-day basis?
Both your day-to-day life and then tech stack.
Yeah, so I have really good support. I have somebody in Spain that I work with daily that's based at the farm. So that's fantastic from just a supply chain and a supplier perspective. I mainly work with on a day-to-day basis here. I mean, I mainly market on Meta and Twitter. Haven't done much TikTok yet, though I do see a good opportunity there. Haven't done much retail yet. I've been really focused on building our digital presence. And I mean, we just have an incredible consumer base, and once people find out about us, they just come back and keep purchasing, or they get on subscription. So that's fantastic. And then more into some of the specifics. I mean, typical e-com setup: Shopify, Klaviyo, Meta Business Suite, etc.
Man, I love your focus on D2C specifically. Probably one of the biggest mistakes I made in my career was getting distracted. I had a great subscription brand, and I love that you're doing subscription with this olive oil. I think it's very smart, Jeremy. I would not have thought of that in the first place, but yeah, I got distracted, and it's like, let me be like everybody else. Let me try to get in retail, and it ended up being it ended up taking the knees out from under the brand and some of that momentum, man.
Yeah. If it makes you feel any better, I didn't even think about subscriptions up front either.
All right.
I had it available, but I never made it a push. And then it kind of hit me one day. Like, I have an amazing repeat customer rate. People love coming back. And I was like, I should really focus on subscriptions. And so just to give you a data point, January of 2025, my subscription take rate was 2%. January of 2026, it was 38%.
Whoa.
So I completely agree with you. It's good to focus on subscriptions.
Wow, that's incredible, man.
That's crazy. I will say a lot of that too was customers on their, second, third, fourth purchase finally being like, let me subscribe. It wasn't necessarily a bunch of first-time consumers finding me on Meta and just subscribing right away. It's definitely, you got to get the product in people's hands. You just have to taste it. I mean, that's at the end of the day, it's a product you just have to taste. It's more expensive than more olive oils in the market. There's a reason for that. It's the reason we do everything the way we do. And it's a lot of education. And it's just simply we have to get the product into people's hands.
Well, that's got to be why you have those little mini bottles, I would think, so people can just let me just get it in my hands. Let me try this thing. Man, Jeremy, you're riding some real waves right now in the zeitgeist with eat real food. Get back down to simple but the highest quality ingredients, stuff that you can pronounce, etc. I love that you've got this direct connection with the farm, and everything's coming from that farm, and you can talk with those people every day. Man, do you think you'll be able to keep that as you scale? I mean, will you need to find eventually another farm, or what's that look like for you?
That's a fantastic question. So that's definitely been on my mind since I launched, and it was kind of like at the beginning, one day I'm gonna have to worry about this, and kind of as we've continued to grow, it kind of hit me a few months ago that day is probably going to be sooner rather than later. And so I go to Spain every year for the harvest. So that's in October. So I extended my trip last October and went to a bunch of other farms, basically looking for my next supplier. And the way I'm viewing it is, I think, contrary to what a lot of good olive oil brands have done as they've scaled and kind of how they've lost quality over time, because they started with one farm and then they started scaling, and they just brought on as much supply as possible. So they started buying from distributors and middlemen to guarantee that supply. The way I'm going to scale as I keep onboarding new farms is basically to just replicate and mimic what I've done with my first farm. Find the same quality, go there, meet the family, partner directly with them, and buy directly with them. And so I met with a bunch of other farms when I was there in Spain last time, and I have a few very, very good contenders. One I'm super excited about. And so as we continue to grow, it should be a, knock on wood, seamless transition to pick up that second supplier, and kind of, adding to what I was saying, like, we're going to be super open about that. Right now we work with one family owned farm. In a few months or next year, we'll be working with 2, or we'll be working with 3. And we'll always talk about the origin, the transparency, where olive oil comes from. And that's at the base of it, what our brand is and what we stand for.
There's a lot of correlations here, Colin, between what Jeremy is doing and the coffee industry that I was in umpteen years ago. I mean, a lot of correlations. I dig everything that you're saying now, brother. Go ahead, Colin.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, I think a lot of people in D2C do not do what you're doing right now, where they go to the actual source. They establish the relationships. They break bread. They have conversations. They have coffee with them. People don't understand that is a fundamental shift in the business, because at the end of the day, you're probably going to get better pricing. You're probably going to get better
Yeah.
terms. They actually know you. You're developing this relationship long term. This is such a huge piece of information that our community should take from this and hold on to this tight, because this is so massive and so few people do this, where it really is setting you above worlds in front of everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I completely agree. And it's fun to be able to show that to my customers and just on social media.
Yeah.
And we're making a big push with that on Instagram. Like, we're starting to introduce some of our farmers and just showing our field in Spain, our trees in Spain. And big picture, I completely agree. Like, I couldn't imagine selling an olive oil from some country that I've never been to or been to the farm or seen the process and knowing it comes from another, importing company. To me, it needs to be direct.
I would say on your visuals, Jeremy, when I was on your website, brother, it felt like I was there. I mean, it felt like I'm in Spain, and it's like the early 80s or the late 70s, you know, and I'm like, I've got the sun on my face, and I'm sampling this pure olive oil that I've never seen before. I mean, even the color and all of it as it's coming out, it looks different. I mean, I do feel transported when I'm on the site and checking out those visuals and such. I
appreciate that.
I imagine that's got to help with the selling process. Do you think so?
Absolutely. And I have some great support on the marketing and graphic design front to help me with that. It absolutely does. I mean, I can't be selling a high quality olive oil without actually showing that. And I mean, to your point, when you go on the website, you're like, oh, this is not the plastic jug I buy from Costco. Or Walmart. This is a completely different product. And I try and show that.
Tell me this. I'm sure this happens. I don't think it should, but I'm sure it does come up. Maybe if it does come up, maybe they're not the right customer for you. But what do people say when they're like, Jeremy, man, I love the idea. I want to try it, but brother, it's 4 or 5 times more expensive than the olive oil I'm used to. Like, what do you say?
No, 100%. I mean, that's our biggest objection. It's frankly the only objection. And I completely understand. And it's tough for me because, like, I want to get this in everybody's hands, but I also need to do it in a way that works for the business.
Yeah, of course.
And so I attack that from an educational perspective. I explain, why it's more expensive, which is kind of all those things I mentioned. We work with one farm, we're not getting economies of scale by blending massive amounts of olive oil around the world. We glass bottle and we ship those glass bottles across the country and across the world. We early harvest, which is actually the most important thing when it comes to cost and quantity. The olive oil harvest happens every year. At the beginning of the season in October for countries like Spain, if you pick and press the olives at the beginning of the season when they're still green and unripe, you get 20 to 40% less oil, but the oil is so much just higher quality overall. It's higher in polyphenols, which are the antioxidants that are good for you.
Wow.
And that taste actually stays intact. So most of the olive oil, especially in the US, comes from later harvest olives because the producers can get more oil that they can sell. So it's really just kind of that trade-off between, how much oil are you getting per olive and how much you are able to sell that for. And so I attack that from an education perspective. I explain why it is. I try and give as many discounts as possible just to get people in the door, whether that's through subscriptions or bundles.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, yeah, I love that. I mean, I think that's the exact right way to attack it. And I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, there is a certain subset of society that says, yes, I want to pay more because that's how I know that I'm getting the quality that I'm looking for. I mean, there's a very hungry segment of that's growing inside of America and other places that say, no, I want the best. And if it's the best, it should cost more. So I like the way that you're attacking.
No, and you hit it exactly. I mean, those are the customers I'm going for. It naturally weeds out certain people that probably wouldn't be the best customers of the product. And to your point, I mean, people want what stuff they can trust these days. That's why we show what we do. And we third-party test it. It's on our website.
That's awesome.
You can see it's 100% extra virgin olive oil. There's no other oils in there. We show our polyphenols. We show all the chemical markers that people geek about in the olive oil industry, and acidity and other things. But at the end of the day, we just want people comfortable and knowing what they're buying, and being able to deliver that, especially in an industry that does not have a lot of trust, is definitely very fulfilling.
Wow.
You reference a lot of upgrading the foundational pantry staples. Is olive oil the first step on a much larger kind of brand mission where next it's going to be vinegar, next it's going to be honey, maybe we're going after salt? What are we building a whole family of pantry staples?
You're asking the questions that nobody else is, and you have the exact vision of where the brand is going. So exactly. So after I was in Spain for the harvest, I went to Modena, Italy, which is the balsamic vinegar capital of the world.
Yeah.
And I spent 2 weeks there. It's in the north of Italy. So I spent 2 weeks there just meeting with family-owned balsamic vinegar suppliers, which was so cool, going to the farms. Most of these are like 7th generation vinegar farmers, and like they're showing us pictures of their great grandparents. We're tasting 200-year-old vinegar that they started making. So that's gonna be the next product. And to your point, my goal over time is to go across the Mediterranean and find the best quality pantry staples and deliver it. So whether that's a honey, a salt, different types of vinegars, spices, there's a lot of opportunities. I personally geek out over product development, product sourcing, new products, and it takes a lot of self-control to kind of take a step back and be like, I need to establish the brand first. This is an olive oil brand. We're going to focus on that for a little bit, and then over time we'll start to introduce some of these very exciting other products.
That's amazing.
As you're talking here, Jeremy, it reminds me of a conversation we had with Aman Advani from Ministry of Supply. I guess that was just this week, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah. It was just on Monday.
We've been doing a lot.
We've been talking to a few people, but he said this, and I think it's very appropriate for what you're doing. He said, great products don't always win, but only great products win. And brother, what is just ringing so clearly as you talk is that you are radically focused on producing and delivering the best available product on planet Earth when it comes to olive oil. And now balsamic vinegar, and maybe it's salt or whatever it is after this. Honey. Maybe it's honey. And I think that's setting you up to win long term, man. I mean, just being able to do that and focused on that. I wish that there would be more operators in our space who would take Matab Bogle's advice, literally get on a plane, go talk, go find, go discover, make that product the best in the world. To me, that's setting you up for long-term success.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's the entire vision with the brand. I am playing the long game. Like, I want to have the best products available. And I can even give you a quick story.
Please.
I originally, that first trip to Spain, I mentioned, like, right when I was like, I'm starting an olive oil company, I was connected to a family-owned farm, 6th generation. They're in the south of Spain. I was super excited about it. Went to the farm, met with them, great product. I was like, here's my product. Like, this was easy. Like, I'm ready to go. Came back, spent like 6-ish months kind of focusing on the back end, like coming up with a business name, creating an LLC, like doing all those things that you need to do to start a business. And I got a call, I think it was like 6 or 7 months later. It was like right after the olive oil harvest. And this was when I was about to launch.
Yeah.
And they called and said, we had a really bad harvest. We can only sell you kind of like blended oil from the area. It's not going to be the single origin, early harvest oil anymore. And I said, thank you, but no thank you. Like, I delayed my launch like 4 months, went back to Spain, found a new supplier. And it's one of those stories of like, everything really happens for a reason. Like, the new farm I work with is just absolutely incredible. The quality of the product's absolutely incredible. But yeah, I delayed the launch, kind of put everything on hold, did all of that because at the end of the day, like, product first for this brand.
Brand at the end of the day, it's like what you say no to. Describe your brand, and that's a great example. Colin, I'd like to know a little more on the distribution side, the marketing side, if he's got any creators up his sleeve or what's going on that side. But I don't want to steal your thunder. Where do you want to take this before we get our man Jeremy out of here?
No, absolutely. I was going to talk about if you had any creators in the wheelhouse that you're trying to go after. I think there's a ton of, not to steal Chris's thunder either, but there's a ton of really healthy creators out there. And
it's true.
Your product is basically liquid gold for them, and it's so easy to promote because it is of the top quality. Are you talking to anybody? Can you tease any folks out for us that you may be talking to? Maybe some partnerships down the road?
Nothing official locked in that I can tease, but from a high level, we do a ton of product seeding and working with influencers and affiliates. I mean, if you just go to our Instagram on any given day, like there's multiple things being added to the story of creators and just customers that are getting the product, using it, showing the packaging, showing how they're using it. And to me, it's just so cool, to my earlier point of like, we need people to see the product, get the product. And for better or worse in today's day and age, like a lot of that is through influencers and affiliates and whatever niche you're targeting, like they're controlling the conversation. And I talk directly with them. I want to know what they like about the product, what they don't, why they want to share it with their audience, why they don't, and just, get them product to show and, give to their audience.
Boy, this is, whenever you talk like that, I'm picturing some upper middle class, beautiful mom with the family sitting outside in Southern California, and they're taking out the pizza from the brick oven and they're drizzling that olive oil on there, and they're all transported to Tuscany. That's what I think about. That's what I think about with this thing.
That's the goal. We want the Mediterranean nostalgia with the convenience of going on my website, D2C, and having it arrive at your doorstep 3 days later.
Wow.
I love
Jeremy.
that.
Jeremy, you are one to watch, brother. And man, we appreciate what you're doing. I am going to order, and we will be drizzling it on our pizza by next weekend. So we love what you're doing. We hope you will come back, and we appreciate you joining us, my friend.
100%. Really appreciate the time. Appreciate everything you guys are doing.
Awesome. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Boy, that'd get you going.
Yeah, that's prime to explode.
That's prime to explode, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, it makes me miss my little coffee business so much. It makes me wish I was traveling to Guatemala and Costa Rica and, nurturing that relationship with the farmer. And, so much.
I teased a little bit of, we should have a scorecard on the show of some of our bets. I bet we're going to come back to his business 6 months from now, and it's going to be up and to the right a lot. Bro. I can almost guarantee that. That would be a surefire bet for me.
I mean, who else is doing this? I know,
exactly.
I know Graza is like, very winning official darling inside of our space, but they're not doing what he's doing.
Exactly.
They've got plastic, it was like the distribution of it was like the form factor with the squeeze bottle that was like unique for them, plus great branding, etc. But he's got this like fine wine approach of, the best that's available. It's in a bottle. You're going to pay about $50 for it, but it's worth it because of when it was harvested and where it comes from, all the things. I mean, I don't know anybody else that's doing this.
Yeah, I didn't want to steal any of his thunder either. We actually did that balsamic vinegar trip as well and tried those $200.
You did?
We have some in our pantry right now. It's unbelievable the difference between that and like balsamic vinegar you would go pick up. It's like, It's not like, oh, this is 10x better. It's like, oh, this is 100 times better. And so he's curating these really unique experiences of like heritage, people that know the business through and through, and crazy high quality products.
When you get something that's like simple but extravagant in its taste like that, you make it like your entire meal. You know, I mean, I've done this several times where we get like some hot, fresh sourdough bread that's what, and like me and the kids end up devouring the entire thing, and it's like that was lunch just because it was so good, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, sourdough bread's also delicious too.
It is.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what he's. I'm gonna order. We got
now. You need that fresh sourdough bread with some of this olive oil drizzled on top of it.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're gonna do. That's
Yeah,
exactly what we're gonna do. Wow, that was good. Well, before we move on here, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Seguno. You know, Seguno is the only marketing suite that lives entirely inside of Shopify. That means your emails, your reviews, your banners, it's all right there where you work and play. And you don't have to trust some duct tape together integration that hopefully is syncing your data verifiably back and forth, your segmentation, etc. This is email 3.0 because your Shopify data is your email data. And this is the reason why they got 2024 Shopify Build App of the Year, one-click automations, actual humans who can help you. If you don't have a full-time email marketer, Seguno was built for you. Go to seguno.com. Have a free trial. You can test drive that baby, see how it works for you. If you tell them Colin I sent you, they will increase that free trial to 30 days. We have CEO Chris coming to the show very soon to talk about more of what is coming for them. Many thanks for Seguno being part of the show. As we move forward here, Colin, very interesting story here that I want your take on. I didn't even know that this existed. Amazon has an AI-powered shop direct program that actually lets customers buy from your website and not from theirs. And number one, did you know that existed?
I did not.
I did not either. I did not know that this existed. And it makes me wonder, like, why does it exist? Okay. Why would Amazon have people who are searching for said product? Why would they show your product that sends them to a different website and they don't get remunerated for it? They're not charging to send people to your site. Okay, let me give you some details here. And they not only does this exist, they're expanding on it. This article comes to us from Modern Retail. Amazon is expanding Shop Direct, an AI-driven program that lets shoppers find and buy products from other retailers, even when those items aren't sold on Amazon.com. What's going on here? What's the catch? The company announced Wednesday it's widening access to Shop Direct by allowing merchants to automatically sync their catalog. Let me say that again. Feeds. We're talking about feeds. Automatically sync their catalog, pricing, inventory through third-party feed providers, including Feedonomics, Salsify, and Said Commerce. The aim is to make it easier for brands to surface their products in Amazon search results and its AI shopping assistant, Rufus. The move is part of Amazon's broader effort to make its website the starting point for every online purchase, including those that ultimately take place outside its own marketplace. Shop Direct allows customers to click out of a brand's website to complete a purchase. The program, which Amazon introduced in February 2025, I can't believe this has been alive a year, now includes more than 400,000 merchants and over 100 million products. Like, are you blown away by this? This like blows me away.
Yeah, I mean, this is solid, but I think something for pause here is it's only 400,000 merchants. And yes, it is 100 million products. It would just be better instead if they just did this with Shopify directly and had access to the millions upon millions of merchants instead of a rinky-dinky 400,000 merchants. They could have had tens of millions of merchants instead and just decided to work with Shopify directly and just kick back and take a piece off of that kickback instead. So this is kind of their little wiggle way around this instead of trying to go and work with Shopify.
I think that's a good point. I think it's a fair point. I wouldn't have said that 400,000 is rinky dink, but you make a good point. There are a whole lot more out there. There are
so many more.
I mean, I think there's like, oh gosh, I can't remember the number. Wasn't there like 60,000 or something new stores on Shopify every week or something like that? I may be egregiously misquoting, but it's
I think you're right.
I think it's 60,000. I mean, it's a ton.
So 400,000 merchants from this program, and Shopify is adding 60,000 every single week. So basically, they just do this program in a little over a month.
Yeah, about a month
of net new merchants, and then we're not even talking about the millions of Shopify merchants that are already live and ready to rock and roll and are great operators.
But here's my main question is why? Because what does Amazon get out of this other than like, oh yeah, like all the searches should start with Amazon. Right now there's no cash money. There's no like, hey, they clicked and bought and we get a little mashugana out of that. It doesn't exist.
Interesting.
This is literally, they're just like directing people off of their site to go purchase something else. That to me, I don't get, but I do think that we get a little hint into what is going on here. Okay. And remember, if it's free, that means we are the product, it's like we're what's getting bought here. The company says the feed helps improve the quality of product data shown to customers, particularly as Amazon builds out AI-driven shopping tools. Better data is especially important as Amazon invests in AI-powered discovery tools like Rufus, which relies on product information to generate recommendations. The more products Rufus can pull from, including items not sold on Amazon, the more relevant its recommendations may become. That could help Amazon keep shoppers engaged on its platform, even if they ultimately buy elsewhere. Listen to this quote. This gives us a really easy way to get that complete data directly from merchants rather than having to go source that ourselves through publicly available data on the internet. Dorr said, we want Rufus to have all of that high quality data to reason with and to provide those great product recommendations and be aware of what's available in the world of e-commerce. I think this has got to be why they would do this. It's like, hey, give us your data.
Yeah,
we want to train Rufus on and ultimately use to keep people here and buy here. That's the only way this makes sense, because they're not in the business of giving people free money.
Yeah, and I think the next level of this is they're going to use this as signaling data for when they actually need to make an Amazon basic version of this thing that they keep pushing out and is not on Amazon yet. Yeah. So they keep seeing the actual data come through from traffic, clicks, and purchases. It's time. Hey, once we hit a certain threshold, it's time to in-house that bad boy and sell on Amazon directly and make all the money.
Yeah. And maybe that brand isn't selling on Amazon, but the duplication of their product is now on Amazon, and it's an Amazon brand.
Yeah.
That makes all the sense in the world. Very interesting. At first blush, I would say, like, of course, sign me up if Amazon's going to give me free traffic and I'm not already there. But there's always a price to be paid.
Always a price.
But very, very, very innovative of them. Very innovative of them. And hey, they are sending people traffic, so something to be said for that. Another trend that we have tracked quite often here that I think came up just in our conversation with Jeremy, relatively adjacently, beef tallow is going mainstream. This is a story that Modern Retail covered here yesterday or today, this morning. Even though there are such a wave and zeitgeist behind it, there's question on, will there be enough supply to meet demand? And I want to read some of this to you, because the real struggle here is going to be the ability to meet demand. In 2025, premium chips brand Masa spent over $3 million on beef tallow. It gives you an insight into how big Masa is. Masa launched in 2022 with its tortilla chips, which are made with grass-fed beef tallow. In 2024, it added a line of beef tallow fried potato chips. This year, the company expects to purchase nearly $4 million worth of tallow to produce its tortilla and potato chips to service its growing retailers. As interest has increased, the beef tallow supply is under pressure. Tallow, quote, tallow is obviously core to all our products, so we use it a lot, Refrano said. He explained that beef tallow is expensive relative to seed oils, of course, costing about how many times would you guess beef tallow is more expensive than traditional seed oils? What would you guess, Colin?
5 times.
Did you read the article?
No, but I had a tallow business.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That's true. Oh boy, I'm in your bag right now.
You're in my bag.
I'm in your bag right now. 3 to 5 times more expensive on a per pound basis. As we grow, that number grows with us. Masa itself is doing 400,000 chips chip bags per month in over 1,500 stores. Now, let's say there's more Van Mans of the world. There's more Van Man restaurants. Let's say Burger King wants to push in and let's do tallow fries again. This is going to get really expensive and probably incapable at some point. That's going to be the big hindrance here, is that things are going to have to get 3 to 5 times more expensive for everybody. Should the tallow zeitgeist continue to roll forth and people want to adopt this more and more, it seems like there's going to be a big shortage when it comes to actually executing on said product. What do you make of this?
Do you smell that, Chris?
I'm smelling. I'm smelling something, but I don't know what the Rock is cooking.
It smells like opportunity, is what it smells like. It smells like opportunity for folks to, if they really wanted to get ahead of this and make something amazing, they become the producers of tallow. They become the actual supplier of tallow. It's time to get some cheap land. It's time to get some cows, and it's time to produce some tallow. And you have a ton of businesses you already have baked in demand for businesses that are willing to bang down your doorstep and grab all the tallow you can supply. This is a home run opportunity. You're aligned with so many key trends as well. And the demographic you're selling into is already primed for this as well.
Yeah, it reminds me of our conversation with Jeremy so much, because the more they detail on tallow here, it is very much like what happens in the olive oil industry when people scale. They have to end up compromising, using a later harvest, etc. Sealand in this article, he says a lot of tallow is deodorized and bleached, which basically turns this into a highly processed food.
Yep.
Fond chose a rendering process that allows natural color and odor to come through, which also preserves the beast tallow's vital nutrients. The challenge whenever there is significant growth in a short amount of time is to find high quality supply and people making it who actually know what they're doing in fresh batches. So I agree with you, though. Somebody has got to get into this shovel business to allow people to do their gold mine hunting in the beef tallow gold rush, because it seems to be here to stay. I don't think it's going away unless there is like a litany of research that comes out that's like, oh, actually beef tallow is bad, or what. I mean, they already tried that for decades. So I don't think it's going away. Somebody needs to crack the freshest and best and most available tallow so that they can enable more and more of this to come, especially Burger King, because I want their fries to go back to tallow.
Yeah, especially if you can offer U.S. made tallow in the country of Texas, and you have an incredible backland. You have the story of the brand going to the farmer, similar to what we just talked about with Jeremy. You connect all of those, and you really sell this entire cycle of, we know exactly where this is coming from. This is the full picture of everything here. You can home run this in a second.
Taylor Sheridan should reach out to us, because I think now that he owns the 4 Sixes Ranch, I think it's primed and ready to become the tallow distributor and developer.
That'd be wild. That was so wild.
Yellowstone
tallow.
Yellowstone tallow, baby. 4 Sixes
awesome.
tallow. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a story that writes itself, really.
It really does. I mean, that would be a home run.
I've yet to try masa, but I want to. I've been hearing great things about it. You had it before?
I have not.
Yeah, it's time. As we move forward here, let's talk about our good friends over at Incense. Yes, we cannot forget our friends at Incense. We all want better ads, don't we? Yeah. Made by real humans, preferably with creators who know what they're doing. But we all know that process is so disjointed and difficult and gives you headaches. That's why Incense exists. It is the all-in-one UGC and influencer marketing platform, ladies and gentlemen. A vetted creator marketplace. They're reaching out to you. Okay, not just you reaching out to them. Automated influencer outreach, built-in campaign management. You get content delivered in as little as 14 days. This is the UGC 2.0 playbook. Okay, modular UGC designed to scale in the era of Andromeda. Actually, we had Danil, CEO of Incense, on the show just yesterday, and he dropped the UGC playbook 2.0. You go to that link down there at the bottom. Incense is designed to help you find real relationships with real creators and develop real creative assets that are going to scale you up into the right. Get on Incense, test drive that platform today, get the download for the playbook, and make this thing happen. Many thanks for Incense being part of the show. As we step into the last batch of stories for our day, I know this is good news for you because you've got that secret Facebook page that you don't tell anybody about that's got over 1 million followers. Okay.
Yeah.
Creators are getting the bag to move to Facebook. This tweet comes to us from MWS, goated. A goated handle, by the way, only 3 letters. Creators need to know this. Facebook just launched Creator Fast Track. If you're successful on IG, TikTok, or YouTube, Facebook will literally pay you to repost there too. If you have 100,000 followers on any of these, they'll pay $1,000 a month, and 1+ million followers will be $3,000 per month simply for reposting your content. I mean, that sounds very nice, but I think this is signaled that Zuck has not given up on the Facebook simply being relegated to the boomers. He is trying to incentivize the best and brightest of creators on other platforms to get in there, get in the game, and make it the place to be. It's an attention game at the end of the day. And if people are continually finding their favorite videos on TikTok, they're not spending time with him on Meta. I think this is very interesting, and I'm excited to see how this develops. Perhaps Facebook can, become the platform of the future again, and not just relegated to the past. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I would say there is a little disparity for the total number of followers that a creator has and the total number of income that they actually produce. And so there's a massive opportunity here where most creators are very bad at monetizing. And if you have the ability to just say, hey, connect to Facebook, start posting on Instagram, start posting on Facebook, all the content that you're already posting on TikTok, we'll give you $1,000. We just made a nice little floor for you so that you can keep producing content. This is massive. Most creators are very, very, very bad at monetizing. I can't emphasize that enough because they're so good at creating, they don't understand the other side of the business. And so now you've joined those two, you've given them an opportunity for distribution and put a little cash in their pocket.
A little cash never hurts. And there is a great there's a great disparity between amount of followers and quality of followers. If you got the right kind of followers, boy, you can make some good cash even with a small following. It is the case. Is Agentic Commerce a mirage? This comes to us via Reed Jackson, and he is citing Eric Seifert, who has been proclaiming this all along, even with the deluge of content that has come our way regarding how bots are going to be buying from bots, etc. What we have covered just recently is that OpenAI is really going backward on their instant checkout. And some very interesting communique here. Let me read one of these quotes here. Walmart, this is specifically Walmart in chat and their relationship. Walmart has made about 200,000 products available directly in chat responses, allowing consumers to provide their shipping and payment details to OpenAI and place their order within ChatGPT. For products like TVs, shoppers still have to open Walmart's website to make a purchase the old-fashioned online way. Conversion rates, Colin.
Yeah.
The percentage of users following through with a purchase of an item shown to them by ChatGPT have been 3 times lower for the selections sold directly inside the chatbot than those that require clicking out. 3 times lower conversion rate, not positive. And there was a lot of talk just this past week that we described for why aren't people getting on instant checkout. Well, Harley said it's because we got 1 million people that are waiting, but the onboarding process has been like so slow.
Yeah.
Now Sam didn't say that. He said, "Oh, I don't know, we're not quite ready, or the people weren't quite ready, or whatever." And that's not what Harley said. Harley said we got plenty of people, and they're excited to get on there. Now they've been rolling backward on instant checkout, which was such a surprise. may be that it's not just a long onboarding process, but actually the results have not been that positive. I mean, conversion rates 3 times lower. Nobody likes that. What do you think? I mean, what do you think's going on here?
OpenAI is bad at e-commerce right now. There are other players in the space, like Amazon has Rufus, that shows the fact that agentic commerce is working extremely well.
Yeah.
So you have that. You also have Shopify, who's rolled out agentic commerce as well. That's been proved to be very good. The common denominator here is not that agentic commerce is not working. It's just that some parties, I don't know who, can't figure it out. And so, they got to figure it out. They can't figure it out overnight. They don't have the data like Shopify or Amazon or Walmart, but they need to figure it out. They need to figure it out quick.
It's interesting. Even Walmart has had great success with their own, I believe Sparky is their tool. If I'm getting the name correctly. I know, I don't get it. I mean, Rufus, Sparky, whatever, why didn't Walmart go with Wally? You would think Wally would be,
probably the movie trademark stuff.
Why not? I don't know. But it is interesting that this has gone so poorly. Instant checkout. I mean, it's interesting. I did not expect it. I thought it would be a home run grand slam.
What's wild too is it's not like there isn't demand for this. You have brands foaming at the mouth telling you, hey, we want to plug into this badly. Give us conversion data, give us CPC data, fine, give us CPM data.
Yeah.
We want this distribution channel. Just make it good. And OpenAI is like, well, we can give you enterprise. It's like, we don't want that. We just want you to give us more revenue.
I think this is a narrative violation too, in that a lot of the conversation around agentic commerce has been like, websites are going to be largely useless. I mean, what are websites going to be relegated to anymore, other than just, kind of an about us? Everybody's going to be purchasing inside of their chat bot of choice. But that's not what we're seeing right here and right now. At least in March of 2026, the most valuable place to send somebody is still your website. I mean, it's definitely not to instantly check out inside of ChatGPT anymore, or never was. And I find this to be compelling, and people need to take notice. Don't throw your website in the trash. Not yet, because Walmart has been the test case here. If you were planning on your business going up into the right simply because they could buy inside of chat, not the case. It'd be more valuable for you to send them to your website.
Yeah. It would be very interesting if Claude came in out of nowhere and just decided, we're going to take this bag from OpenAI because you're not doing it. A former OpenAI now CEO just is like, you're not doing it right. I think I'm just going to take this entire opportunity from you.
Let me get in here and get this bag.
Let me get this bag.
Speaking of Claude, one of the least likely places that I think people have been considering for tool development and use cases for AI is in the blue collar world. And it's probably the most ripe place for actually making money. This tweet comes to us from Jason Walls, and I want to read this to everybody because this is truly inspiring. Last week, Mark Cuban reposted my thread. 876,000 people saw it. 3 days ago, I applied to Shark Tank Season 18. Yesterday, a casting producer emailed me wanting to learn more about ChargeRight. That's the tool that he has developed. I'm still a union electrician, still IBEW Local 369, still pulling wire every day. I built an app with Anthropic's Claude that runs the same NEC 220.82 load calculation I do on job sites, tells homeowners if they actually need a panel upgrade before installing an EV charger. Most don't. That's a $3,000 to $5,000 answer for $13. A week ago, nobody knew my name. Mark Cuban changed that with one repost. Now Shark Tank is in my inbox. I don't know where this goes, but I'm not stopping. I loved this. And this guy, he's a master electrician, and he says his whole motivation is, I'm tired of watching homeowners get quoted 3 to 5K for panel upgrades they didn't need to install. They didn't need just install an EV charger. So he taught himself how to do it. Zero coding background. He just used Claude like an apprentice and just asked, hey, teach me. I want to learn how to do this. And now he can do it for $13.
Unreal. Claude should reach out to this guy, grab this guy immediately for a commercial for Claude.
Yes.
Because this is a home run use case story. Information has basically flattened back down to whoever the knowledge is. So if you're a genius electrician and you can dump that context into Claude and create a really cool tool around that nobody else has, guess what? That's your upper edge against the entire marketplace. Chris can dump in all of his paid media knowledge that basically I can't match right now. I'm not as good as him. But, he's going to outpace me because he can make an entire Claude tool around that. Folks, you can basically productize your knowledge right now and make it unbelievable inside of Claude.
Yeah, absolutely. And who's to say that we don't have a little Claudified tool of ourselves coming here very soon? I couldn't officially announce at this
tease.
I couldn't say,
not yet.
It may be that there's a Claudified tool that we ourselves have worked on that could appear somewhere inside the show, maybe at the bottom of the screen. It's hard to say, but
look out.
That's why you got to stay tuned.
Yeah.
Perhaps it will, display information that I better not say too much more.
You're getting too much into it.
I better back it up. But I applaud this use case and D2C operators, marketers, founders, operations side, manufacturers. We need to do the same thing. Take all of that acquired knowledge inside of your brain and figure out how to Claudify it and deliver it to your clients and customers in a way that takes the cost down 5 times, 10 times, 50 times. I mean, if you can do that, the market will reward you. And Jason Walls is a great example.
Yeah.
Last 2 things. Story of the one-man brand. I know we love the one-man brand, don't we? We do.
Let's go.
This is a tweet from Fedotto F90. He is out of Miami. I just want to read it to everybody because this is what we want. And this, to me, is what Ecom 4.0 is about. Met a woman at a Miami dinner last week, former nurse, no business background. She's doing $3.2 million per year selling one skincare product. One person, one product. Started 2 years ago with $8,000 saved. Her entire growth strategy, she spends 1 hour every morning studying competitor ads in the Meta library. Puts her face on ads. No agency, no media buyer. Just her, a Canva account, and a relentless system for stealing what's already working. Steal like an artist, baby. Her ROAS is 2.8x after 2 years of consistency. I asked her what most people get wrong. She said they want to be creative. I just want to be right. The best e-com operators aren't the most talented. They just don't overthink and print. And I think there's some great lessons to take away here, like from our conversation with Barry Hott the other day. You don't have to be the most creative. You don't have to produce a work of art to actually make money. You can open the camera and film yourself eating an entire chip bag and talking through it with food in your mouth over the course of 3 minutes and produce a best-selling ad that you run for many years to come. Or like this woman, literally just look at your competitors, see what they're doing, and say, I want to try that. And then get inside of Canva and put your face in there. I love this. I love this. Our woman, our product, $3.2 million in revenue yearly later. This is to me, this is the future. And this is why I say the American dream is still alive on the internet today. I love this.
Yeah. I mean, this is awesome because you kind of get the gist from the story that she's just humble. She's like, I don't know what's working. I'm just going to steal from my competitors. If it works, great. I just want to make money. And so I have no preconceived notions about what is right in this situation. I'm just going to keep testing things until I make more money. And that's exactly how you should approach D2C and e-commerce. I don't know what I don't know. I'm just going to keep trying things. And then if it makes me more money, good. If it doesn't, bad. Very simple, folks.
Very
simple.
Very simple. And
Yeah.
I think that this is the thing that once you've got a little bit of knowledge and weight under your belt, you got some notches on your belt later in your career, I think it's hard to humble yourself.
Yeah.
And because to some extent, actually your job and your performance and your pay, if you're not the founder, it depends on you adequately displaying my knowledge.
Exactly.
I know, hey, I've got the answers, etc. But the real hurdle to getting where you want to go is admitting what you don't already know. I don't know. Do I have it all figured out? No, I don't. No, I don't. And the great thing about this woman is that she is starting from the place of, it's like, I got no clue. And I'm not trying to make a work of art. I'm just trying to make a buck. And these people, they seem to be doing pretty well. Let me try that. And I'll get inside of Canva. I don't feel bad about myself for working inside of Canva. Okay. I don't feel less of myself for not operating in Figma or whatever, what tool. I'm going to get inside of Canva. It's made for people like me who want to produce something that looks great very quickly. I need some help to get started. Let me get inside of Canva. And that ad seems to be like it's working. I'm going to take that and do it for my one product and put my face in there. And then look, here we are 2 years later. I love this. And whoever this lady is, I want her on the show. She needs to
I want her on the show bad.
Talk. We need to reach out to Alex Fedotov and see if we can get in contact with this woman, because
Canva also deserves you a bag after that, because I want Canva, because it's just like, it's so easy. I'm so high on Canva too.
I'm so high on Canva.
She's a billionaire now.
Yeah, and she should be.
She's a billionaire. Yeah.
She should be a billionaire. Yeah. She should be a billionaire. I am any hate that needs to come my way for not, preferring to work with refined tools like Figma, etc. I'm happy. I am happy to be a Canva user. Okay. Yeah. And I came out of the closet a few years ago. I said, I love Canva. I love Canva. I use it for my ads. And I love using Canva for my ads. And you know what? They've made a whole lot of money. Okay. Those Canva ads have made a whole lot of money. And you know what? Who would back me up 1,000%? Here is Bart from Dad Gang.
He would, because he uses Canva too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The one-man marketing machine. Yeah. That is Bart the chef.
Yeah.
Up in the Pacific Northwest and cooking daily inside of Canva. There needs to be like a segment. It's like cooking inside of Canva.
Cooking with Canva.
Actually, Canva should sponsor this show. They should.
It just makes so much sense.
And we should have a weekly segment where we just get people in, they cook inside of Canva. They tell us about what they're cooking, working on.
We just make an ad for one of our D2C brethren inside of Canva live on the show.
That's what we should do.
Send it over to them and say, hey, we made this on the show.
That's what we
cooked in Canva for you.
We cooked inside of Canva. That was totally unplanned, but I'm glad that it happened.
Absolutely.
And last story of the day is one I think incredibly close to your heart, dear Colin. It is the Masters Candy Bar. The Masters Candy Bar is coming. If one has ever had the honor of being at the Masters, I have not, then one would know how probably cheap and delicious this item will be. New. While last year's addition to the Masters menu was met with mixed feedback, tomato pie, honestly, it sounds awesome to me. I'd love to eat it. 2026's will surely be a hit. ANGC has partnered with Bitzel's, an artisan chocolate factory near Atlanta, to produce the official Masters Candy Bar, which debuts this year. Can you tell us, just tantalize us a little bit, Colin, why you are so excited about this? Tell us about the Masters menu and what one can have while they are there. Truly once in a lifetime experience going to the Masters.
Hopefully I can do it soon in my life. I have a little in right now that I'm trying to work. And maybe I get there. Maybe I get there soon. But the Masters is an incredible place because the menu has been basically the same for the last umpteenth years that they've been around, but the pricing has not changed whatsoever. So you can still get a soda for $2. You can still get the classic sandwich that they have for like $4. It's really, really incredible. They don't try to make it this extravagant thing. It's a beautiful kind of, a little, wink, wink back to the culture of when golf started and how far it's progressed. But we still have these amazing, these foods around us. So being the candy bar for the Masters is a great honor that you can bestow upon a brand coming up. And now you get to have the opportunity for all of the Masters press coverage. It's one of the most covered events in the world. You get all of that, and you get to have this amazing candy bar as part of it. It's truly amazing.
I think too, it's this interesting, unique experience that is so exclusive and difficult,
very hard to get in,
to attend.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't even know how one does get in. I'm
Lottery.
not. Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. I mean, it's by chance.
Yeah. So that you have to apply to a lottery every single year. I know people that have applied 9-10 times, rejected every single time.
It's so exclusive. It is golf's hallowed ground.
Yeah.
To be a member at the Masters is a huge deal. There are like very few people who are actually members. I think one of the only few pro golf Masters winner members is like Peyton Manning. I mean, it's like very exclusive. Okay. To go, very difficult, very exclusive. But once you get there, you have got this magical experience where you are buying sodas and, chicken salad sandwiches and things for $1.50. I mean, you're shelling out $1.50, and you've got this like incredible experience of I'm in this exclusive, very difficult, expensive, luxurious experience, and yet I'm buying snacks for $2. I mean, that is a very interesting combination that I wish would be applied in more places, because it's magical.
It's magical. It warms your heart as part of the experience. And then it lets you save a bunch of money, because eventually what you're going to do is take all that money you saved and go to the Masters shop and basically spend thousands of dollars there. There's haul photos. You should look up haul photos from guys going into the Masters shop where they spend thousands of dollars getting polos and Q-zips and hats and anything you can think of.
Colin, as we're talking, I'm still thinking about what I could sell on Whatnot. This thought has not left my mind. And I think like exclusive golf wares that somehow like didn't get sold or whatever. Like if we could find a way in there, I mean, imagine selling, obviously Masters probably all sold out, but imagine selling product like that.
Yeah.
Live selling after an event. I mean, that would crush.
Yeah. And golf is one of the largest categories on eBay, period.
I think there's something there.
Yeah. Golf is massive right now. It's one of the largest categories for sports too. It's had the biggest boom.
We need to talk with Colin Landforce, and we need to figure out how to find our way into some exclusive golf wares.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Well, many thanks to Mike Manheimer for coming on the show today, dropping the sauce on SMS. Wow. That one was juicy. That's a no-brainer. Their AI shopper. And many thanks to Jeremy of Oliva Dorado, and giving us the insight on how to make an incredible product people are willing to pay 5 times more for, literally 5 times more for. And many thanks to Incense, Seguno, Postscript, and AMP for making this show possible. Thanks to you for tuning in. We're going to have all of this clipped up and rolling out tomorrow. I've already forgotten some of the awesome things that were said. You'd be surprised. Sometimes I go back on our shows and I'm like, wow, I remember that now. Yeah. And I'm glad that resurfaced itself. We will talk to you tomorrow. We got an incredible Friday coming up tomorrow, heading into the weekend, last weekend of spring break here in Texas. Thanks for joining us. We will see you on the other side.